Okay, stick with me for a second here. It is January.
Uh-huh.
The holidays are officially in the rearview mirror. The decorations are back in the attic, hopefully. And you know what that means.
Oh, I think I do.
We have entered the season of life admin.
Life admin. Ugh. Just hearing that phrase makes me want to take a nap.
Right. It is the absolute opposite of thrilling. It's that time of year when you start looking at the calendar and realizing you have to do all the boring stuff.
All the stuff you put off.
Exactly. It's checking that weird rattle in the car dashboard you've been ignoring since, like, October. It's finally booking that dentist appointment you canceled because you were too busy.
It's all that unexciting, necessary preventative care.
Yes. The stuff you ignore until it becomes a real problem.
You ignore the rattle until the car breaks down on the highway, in the rain. You ignore the tooth until you literally can't chew on the left side of your mouth.
Exactly. And we all kind of accept that this is how it works for our bodies and our cars. We know we should do the maintenance. But here's the thing that really struck me while reading through our packets for today.
What's that?
Why do so few business owners apply the same logic to the systems that actually keep their businesses running?
That is the big question. And frankly, usually the answer is just because the screen turned on this morning.
Well, today we are doing a deep dive into something that might sound dry on the surface, but is, well, it's actually a little terrifying if you peel back the layers.
It really is.
We are talking about the annual Tech Physical. We're looking at a fascinating piece of literature from Preferred Office Technologies, specifically their guide on why your business technology needs a physical before it crashes.
And what's interesting here is the scope. They aren't talking about installing a cool new app or buying shiny new laptops for the team.
Right, not about morale.
No, this is about resilience. And specifically, for the audience in Arkansas and Oklahoma, places like Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Tulsa, this is framed as local business survival.
The core concept that hooked me immediately was this distinction they make right at the top. It's a simple concept, but if you really sit with it, it's disturbing.
The difference between working and healthy.
Yes.
It's a crucial distinction. In fact, I'd argue it's probably the most dangerous misconception in IT.
Because I think most of us assume, hey, my computer booted up, my email sent, I printed an invoice, therefore my tech is healthy.
And this source material is basically screaming, no, that is not what that means at all.
So what does it mean?
Well, if you take the medical analogy, which this guide really leans into heavily, think about high blood pressure.
Okay.
You can walk around, go to work, you feel perfectly fine and have dangerously high blood pressure. You're working. You're functioning.
But you are definitely not healthy.
Not at all. And bam, heart attack, no warning. Exactly. And in the tech world, that heart attack is a server crash or a ransomware attack or a catastrophic backup failure.
The source material points out that tech problems rarely announce themselves.
No, there's no marching band. They're silent. They use that analogy of a cavity.
Oh, that it rots your tooth long before it hits the nerve.
Right. And by the time you feel that pain, the damage is already done.
That is a terrifying thought. So you're operating your business, everything seems fine on the surface, but underneath, things are just rotting.
Precisely. The guide lists these hidden killers. It's things like known risks that you just haven't checked in a while, or aging equipment that is technically still working.
But it's running on fumes.
Right, and backups. That was a huge one.
Oh yeah, backups that exist. People see the file, the icon is there, but they fail to restore when you actually need them.
And compliance gaps. That's the silent killer that doesn't break your computer. It just breaks your bank account when the auditors show up.
So the key insight here, and I want everyone to really process this, is that a system can run perfectly every single day and still be exactly one bad day away from a total disaster.
It's the I feel fine trap. It's the single biggest danger to business continuity because it creates this false sense of security.
Okay, so let's unpack this physical. Let's play doctor here. If we walk into the exam room at Preferred Office Technologies, what are they actually checking? Let's start with what the document calls the vital signs.
Backup and recovery.
The pulse of the business.
Which makes sense. If the heart stops, can you be resuscitated? That's what a backup is. It's the defibrillator.
They used an analogy here that I absolutely loved because it is so visceral. They said most businesses only discover their backups are broken during an emergency, and they compared that to discovering your airbags don't work during the crash.
It's a nightmare scenario, but it's so accurate. Imagine you're driving, you hit a tree, time slows down, and nothing happens.
That's exactly what it feels like when you get hit by ransomware. You have the panic of the attack, but you think, it's okay, we have the backup.
And you go to the server and it says, error, file corrupted, or even worse, last backup, 2019.
I got chills just hearing that, honestly. It's that sinking feeling in your stomach.
It's awful.
So if we are doing a real checkup, not just a casual glance, what questions are we asking to avoid that feeling?
Well, it moves beyond, do we have backups, to, are they actually completing?
Yeah.
But more importantly, and this is the one that catches almost everyone, when was the last time we tested a restore?
Tested it, meaning actually tried to bring the data back.
Yes. Not just looking at a log that says success with a little green check mark.
Yeah.
Automated logs lie, or they tell partial truths.
So what's a real test?
A real test means actually taking a file, deleting it, and trying to bring it back, or taking a whole server offline and spinning up the backup image to see if it even boots.
Why don't people do that? Is it just time?
It's time, and it's fear. People are afraid to touch the backup system in case they break it.
That makes sense.
But the source material poses a scenario that every business owner needs to answer. If your server failed at 9 a.m. on a Monday, exactly when would you be operational again?
Oof. 9 a.m. Monday, the phones are ringing, orders are coming in.
And the screen just goes black. Is the answer 10 a.m.? Is it Tuesday? Is it... We're not sure. If you don't know the answer to that specific question, not a guess, but a known fact, your vital signs are unstable.
That's a heavy question, and I bet a lot of listeners are pausing right now thinking, do I actually know that answer?
Or do I just hope the answer is soon?
Right, and hope is not a strategy.
It's not, and that's the whole point of the physical. To find out now, in January, when the pressure's off, rather than on that Monday morning when clients are screaming.
Okay, let's move to the next body part, the heart. The source identifies hardware and infrastructure as the heart health of the business.
This is where the physical reality of tech comes in. We tend to think of software and the cloud as this, like, ethereal magic space. But it all lives on metal and plastic somewhere.
And metal and plastic age.
They sure do. And the source had a great line, technology doesn't fail politely.
It really doesn't.
No, it doesn't send you a thank you note and give you 2 weeks notice that it's quitting.
Dear business owner, I will be retiring next Tuesday. Please make arrangements.
Exactly. It degrades silently. Fans slow down, dust builds up, hard drives develop bad sectors, and then, usually when the system is under the most stress.
Your busiest season.
Right. End of month billing, it just fails.
The source mentions that for businesses in the Arkansas and Oklahoma region specifically, outdated infrastructure is a leading cause of this preventable downtime.
Yeah, it's often a mindset of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You see a server that's 5, 6, 7 years old, it's humming along, why spend thousands replacing it?
It feels like a waste of money.
It does. But the physical reveals that the manufacturer stopped supporting it 2 years ago. So it's not just that it might break.
It's that if it does, you're on an island.
Totally on an island. If the power supply blows, there are no parts. You're scouring eBay for refurbished parts while your business is dead in the water for 4 days.
So the checkup looks at, are we replacing things strategically on a schedule, or are we running them until they die?
Reactive versus proactive. And reactive is always more expensive. Always.
Okay, moving on to the blood work. This one creeped me out a little bit, I have to admit. The source calls access and credentials the blood work of the tech stack.
This is about digital hygiene. It's checking for infections in the bloodstream of the company.
They pose this challenge in the text. If asked right now, could you produce a clean list of exactly who has access to your systems?
A clean list. That word implies accuracy.
And it implies no ghosts.
Ghost users. Sounds spooky, but it's incredibly common.
Talk to me about the ghosts.
It's pretty simple. Think about Jane from marketing. Jane left the company 6 months ago. Nice departure. Cake in the break room.
Jane was great. We miss Jane.
Sure. But did anyone remember to disable her remote access login? Her Dropbox access? Did anyone change the password to the company Instagram account she managed?
And if the answer is probably, or I think so.
But you're overdue for a checkup. Because access creep is a real condition, and it's not usually malicious.
It's just an oversight.
It's just an oversight.
Right.
But if Jane's old password gets compromised in a data breach 3 years from now, and that account is still active on your server, well, hackers have a front door key.
It also mentioned vendors. That's one I wouldn't have thought of.
Huge vulnerability. Think about the HVAC company that needed network access 3 years ago. Or the copier repair guy who needed a temp admin password. Do they still have a back door into your network?
Probably.
Almost certainly if you aren't auditing it.
And shared accounts. The classic admin password that everyone knows.
Which means there is zero accountability, If a file gets deleted or a client list gets stolen and the logs show it was accessed by admin, who did it?
You have no idea.
No idea. The blood work part of this physical is about looking for these vulnerabilities before they get exploited.
It's funny because, again, none of this sounds like my computer is broken. It all sounds like boring administrative stuff.
But it's lethal if it goes wrong.
Yeah.
That's why the medical analogy works so well. High cholesterol is just a number on a page until it isn't.
Let's talk about the scary stuff. The worst case scenarios. Disaster readiness.
This is the part nobody likes to talk about. It's the last will and testament part of the physical.
The source material is pretty blunt here. It says if your plan for ransomware is, we'd figure it out, that is not a plan. It is a gamble.
A gamble with very, very high stakes. And unfortunately, we'll figure it out, is the default strategy for a lot of small businesses.
So what does a healthy disaster plan look like then?
It has to be documented, and it has to be tested. It's not enough to say, oh, Bill knows what to do. What if Bill is on vacation?
What if Bill is the one who clicked the bad link?
Exactly. A real checkup asks, if you got hit with ransomware tomorrow, what is step one? Who do you call? Do you have the phone number written down somewhere?
Or is it in your email that you can no longer access?
That's the one. And how long can you survive without your computers? An hour? A day? A week?
Most modern businesses grind to a halt within hours.
And this physical forces you to look that reality in the face. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
And tied to this is compliance. This feels like the legal department walking into the doctor's office.
Yeah, it is. Depending on your industry, healthy isn't just a feeling. It's a legal definition. If you are in healthcare, you have HIPAA. If you take credit cards, PCI standards.
And the source mentions that businesses in this region often overlook this, thinking we're small, nobody's watching us.
But the fines don't care if you're small. The text mentions HIPAA fines can be up to $50,000.
Per incident.
Per incident. That is business-ending money for a lot of folks. And that's not even counting the lawsuits or the lost contracts, if you're a liability to your clients.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. Vitals, heart, blood work, living will. How does a business owner know, without a doubt, that they need this right now? The source lists some red flags.
Yeah, these are what they call verbal symptoms, things you might hear yourself or your staff say.
Okay, hit me with them.
The biggest one. I think our backups are working.
The word think is the symptom.
Exactly. Uncertainty is a symptom. Here's another. Our server is old, but it runs.
That's denial.
We probably have former employees in the system, but they wouldn't do anything bad.
That's just accepting unnecessary risk.
And my favorite, or least favorite, we'd probably fail an audit, but nobody's asked yet.
That is just whistling past the graveyard. These phrases are so common.
They are the business equivalent of saying, yeah, I have this chest pain, but it only happens when I run, so it just won't run.
You're just managing the symptom, not curing the disease. Which brings us to the cost. This sounds expensive. I don't want to pay for a checkup just to be told I need to spend more money.
A valid fear. But look at the cost equation. What does the checkup cost? A few hours. A bit of time.
And what does the cure cost if you wait for the disease to strike?
Days, weeks, lost productivity, damaged trust. And if it is ransomware, you're looking at potentially six-figure recovery costs.
There's a great quote in the text. Prevention is boring and affordable. Recovery is expensive and public.
Ooh, that public part stings. Do you want your tech failure to be a private meeting with your IT partner, or do you want it to be a headline in the local paper?
Or an email you have to send to every single customer apologizing.
Nobody wants to write that email.
So here's the logical next question. Can I just do this myself? Why can't I self-diagnose?
Well, can you give yourself a root canal?
I mean, there are YouTube tutorials for everything, but no, definitely not.
You don't diagnose yourself because you lack two things: objectivity and pattern recognition. The source makes a strong case for why an IT partner is necessary.
Explain that. Pattern recognition.
An IT partner sees hundreds of businesses. They know what a failing server sounds like. They know what a weird traffic pattern on the network looks like because they've seen it lead to a hack 50 times before.
So they have a baseline for healthy that I just don't have.
Right, and they bring a fresh perspective. You've normalized your problems. You're used to the printer taking 5 minutes to warm up. You think that's just how it is.
It's the normalization of deviance.
Exactly. An outsider comes in and says, that is not normal. That is a warning sign. It's the shift from firefighting to fire prevention.
And frankly, fire prevention is a much less stressful way to run a business.
Absolutely.
So let's bring this home. It's January. The source material is titled January Annual Tech Physical for a Reason.
Is the time for a reset.
If you are in Arkansas or Oklahoma Fort Smith, Fayetteville, Tulsa Preferred Office Technologies is basically holding up a sign saying, let us help you sleep better at night.
And the offer they are making is very specific. It's not a sales pitch in the traditional sense. It's an assessment, plain English assessment.
That plain English part is key, no jargon.
Right. They're going to tell you what is healthy, what is at risk, and what needs attention right now.
Clarity. That is what they are selling.
Clarity is the antidote to anxiety.
Hmm.
When you know where you stand, you can make decisions. When you're guessing, you're just hoping luck is on your side.
And as we've learned today, luck is not a strategy.
Definitely not.
So here's what you need to do. If you are listening to this and you realized you don't know the answer to the backup question or the access question, you need to book this annual tech physical. Reach out to them.
It's the easiest step you can take to protect the business you've built.
Before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. We talked about that Monday morning scenario. The server crashes at 9 a.m.
The nightmare.
I want you to honestly visualize that moment. The silence in the office, the panic rising. Now, imagine the alternate reality. Imagine you have a partner who has already tested the backup. You know for a fact that you will be back up by noon because you saw the test report last month.
The difference between those two feelings, the panic versus the confidence, that is the value of the physical.
If you hesitated even for a second when imagining that scenario, if you felt that pit in your stomach, your checkup is already overdue.
Don't wait for the crash to check the airbags.
Exactly. Go get checked out. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
Stay healthy.